Hey, how's everyone doing out there?
Hello.
Thank you, Courtney, for sharing this.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right. For those of you that are new to this here, this is sort of my idea for the Fireside Chat is more relaxed, kickback, camaraderie building amongst, the homesteaders and the preppers and anyone who wants to return to a slower lifestyle. So there are some interesting things going on right now out in the world, but I don't want to talk about them here. I want to keep it more friendly and laid back. And Broussard's just went live, also with a special announcement.
Yes.
Okay. Close that back. But so first of all, let's we got okay, side chat talk here. I mean, a private chat up here. But I'm going to say hi to everybody out there that came in. And Tasha at Prep For It was first. Dave was second. Of course, he's also up here now. Courtney said third. She's up here now. Gear grinding.
Did you say Courtney said turd?
Yeah.
Let me read. No.
Rhymes with third.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist that one. Sorry.
Yeah. I had to look again. Did I mispronounce that? Okay. And for those of you who don't know, Courtney's private group, membership group is called the Poop Troop. And that's a big joke that started about 9 months ago with an accidental thing on someone, I'll be right back. And they shut down the thing. Oh, he went to poops. And that's how that started.
Careful, Jay. That might actually come all the way over here.
All right. Let's see. Then we got, all right. Then Bruce made a comment. And then Jay made a comment. I was watching a very, very old Western with Buster Crab and Randolph. Oh, anything with Randolph Scott's good. This stream better be worth it. Hey, all right, Jay, you got a choice to make. You can watch us live or you can watch dead people later.
Wait.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not
Of course,
dead yet.
Randolph Scott is one of my all-time favorite Western stars, right up there with John Wayne, Audie Murphy, and Roy Rogers.
Oh, I don't know. I have one foot on a banana peel and the other one in the grave already. So, I mean, I'm borderline dead. I mean,
and everybody's chalking back and forth. And Blue
Charles
Farm's in the house.
Ready to hit you in the back of the knees with a broom or
he
something?
sure is.
All right. Blue Farm's in the house. Will at JIT Preparedness Info's in the house. Idaho Garden Girl's in the house. Cool. Everyone's chit-chatting back. Yeah, that La Palma volcano's still going off. Yeah. And what's interesting is talking about La Palma here, that volcano over there on the other side of the Atlantic that everyone's worried the side of it's going to slide off, hit the water and send a tsunami to the East Coast. All the earthquakes that Statistics Observers has been showing on their map from the USGS, they're not showing up on my map. I got to figure out what's wrong because when I tried putting it in that area and trying to do it, it's blank. It's not showing any of those earthquakes.
Can you say silent censorship?
Yeah. All right. Let's see who else is here. Everyone's talking. All right. We're caught up. Everybody's out there talking. So just a reminder, if any of you in the side chat are not subscribed to everybody up here, go ahead and subscribe to them. Chris and Laura is Hedgehog Homestead. And yeah, so we got some good people up here. We got some good people in the chat.
Everyone in here, except for Will, is a Poop Troop member.
In the side chat. Okay, so everybody's already subscribed to Courtney. You don't have to worry about subscribing to Courtney.
That's so funny, you guys.
And pick up Chris and Laura, Bruce and Dave. And Diggs Outdoor. Diggs is a Poop Troop member too. He just showed up.
Yeah.
All right, so this is things are a little bit, all right. For me, today is a weird day. It's the day after Halloween. It's the day we start tearing down the haunted house if I put it up. But for me, my wife really nailed me with it today on her post on Facebook. Today was also my mom's birthday. My mom would have been 99 today.
Oh, wow.
And she passed away in 2007 on Christmas Day.
Hey, Kaylin.
And hey, Kaylin. And so it's just that, I've been thinking a little bit, but with the way the thing my wife put up on the thing was just kind of like, ah! And then, of course, all the people back in California that knew her are all posting up there and saying stuff. And it's like, okay, guys, I did not need to become melancholy.
Melancholy? That's not quite the word you're looking for. Melancholy.
Melancholy, yeah. Today. So, but there are some good things going on. I was editing a video that I took Saturday. It ran for about 2 hours over across the street for my number 2 grandson, his 5th birthday. And so I got edit out. I edit out the stuff of guests coming in and stuff. So some of the adults didn't want to be in this. So I got to edit them out. But you got wound up with 5 kids running around there, dressed in different costumes and stuff. So, but got a question for you guys though. And everybody in the side chat, so nobody on the panel answer until we get the answers from the side chat. So side chat, I want you to type your answer out. Do not hit enter till I say go. What is the next big holiday? So type your answers out in the side chat. Get your answer all typed out.
Enter.
Don't hit enter yet.
Oh, shoot. Oops.
Corky doesn't follow orders.
No, she missed the whole direction.
Oh, she missed it by miles. Hey, Emma. Okay, so what is the next big holiday that we should be celebrating? Go ahead and hit enter, everybody.
I can't give hints.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, we got 2 Christmases. We got Thanksgiving.
Black Friday?
Jay got it. Jay was the first one to get it.
Well, actually,
Veterans
Bruce
Day.
said it first, so.
Oh, okay.
That's not.
Oh, Suburban Day. Yeah, Jay. So, okay, Veterans Day. Veterans Day is probably the least properly celebrated holiday the United States has.
Well, it's going the same way they did with Columbus Day.
Yeah.
Oh my, that hurts my poor little feelings. We can't celebrate that no more.
Well, even as a kid, I had a teacher. I think it was a first, second, third grade teacher that pointed out to us that the Vikings were here a long time before Columbus. So they knew that even when I was a little kid, way back when, they knew about that. It was out everything.
Yeah, there's proof up in Maine of some of the early settlements from the Vikings.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, all you got to do is do a history search in Maine, and you will find ancient brick and some wooden structures still in Maine from when they were here.
And a little bit farther south, there's Vermont, or one of the ones down a little bit farther. They have some of the long dirt mound ones that were, they have found some stuff in it. I got to put this one up here.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Well, Pennsylvania Prepper, I'm just opposite. It's my wife who's the veteran.
Yeah.
But Veterans Day to me, because my dad tried to enlist, couldn't enlist. He was stamped 4F because his right leg was 2 inches shorter than his left leg. Actually, about 2.5. He got bit in the knee by a rattlesnake when he was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle, his brother, served in the army over in Germany. This was his younger brother. So his younger brother was born about 1935. So do the math. I guess Korean War. He didn't go to Korea. He went to Germany instead because he spoke French. Figure that one out. I have one nephew-in-law that was in the Air Force, a nephew in the Navy, a nephew in the Marines, a nephew in the Army, a wife that was a staff sergeant in the Army.
So in other words, your family was just plain confused of where to serve. So they just went everywhere.
They went everywhere. However, we don't have anybody in the puddle jumpers. Oh, Bruce got it. Coasties, yes. Yeah. Puddle jumpers, river patrol.
Hey,
I have some good friends that are in the Coast Guard. And actually, one of the people I worked with, her husband is still in the Coast Guard. And before I bought property, when I bought property in Idaho, I found out, she goes, I was from Idaho. We wanted to go back so bad. But they were down in California because of her job. And then he transferred to follow her job. And yeah, they were, I said, so when he was in Idaho, he was on River Patrol. She goes, you got that right. He was on River Patrol, the Snake River, and some of the others. So the Coast Guard does stuff here in the United States as well. But there is, see if I can try to pull this up over here while I'm chit-chatting. There is some great organizations out there that support our veterans. And my favorite one is called the Warrior Song Project. I don't know if any of you heard of the Warrior Song Project.
I've no.
Okay.
Just the Warrior Project.
If you go to my playlist on Camppatton Family Compound for Patriot, scroll them down here so I can show it to you. With pruning, remodeling, Patriot. Here it is. View playlist. There we go. Okay, so let me share screen.
Sorry, Emma.
Okay, so the Warrior Song has, the first one that came out was Warrior Song Hardcore. Then the next one that came out with was Aqua Analysis, which is for the Army. Aquila Analysis. Then the Air Force, then the Navy, and this is just a live stream I ran. But these songs here, you can go to Warrior Song Project, and you can actually buy the full versions with and without lyrics on it. And I don't have the audio on, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get dinged for this or not. So we're going to see. Of course, it comes up with an ad. Skip ad. So the warriorsong.com. I mean, the song is cool. I can't play it because I know I'll get hit. But it has a prelude in it, and the prelude, these guys are soldiers are speaking.
I can't hear anything.
I know. I'm not playing the sound because I don't want to get dinged.
Oh, okay. I thought you said
right now they're just speaking it. You got about a whole group of people speaking it. And now comes in the rock.
The Jarhead core.
Yes. And now comes in the heavy guitar stuff. And, they do this for all branches of the military. The song for it. The song is basically the same. They change up it a little bit, but the word, and then they change up the wording a bunch. And on Thursday, Veterans Day, I will play this live because that'll be on Gray Man, and it's not monetized, so I don't care. And they're getting really into the heavy rock, the guitars and stuff.
Geronimo.
Somebody's out there talking about the chair force. What the heck?
Dang it! This is the one without the. You have there's versions you can find that have the lyrics printed as they start singing it. They start to do it, but yeah. So anyways, I'm gonna let me go and stop so I don't have a blur in my ear there. To me, coming up here in 10 days now is probably one of the most important holidays for our country, next to the 4th of July.
Yeah. For the freedoms you see and have are attributed to another who took and gave up his own.
Yeah. So, as we come up in the next 10 days on the on Veterans Day, look around to see what's going on. See if there's any activities that you can go to support them. I know where my wife is in Martinez, California, they do 2 ceremonies at 8:00 in the morning at one of the cemeteries. They do a flag raising and a wreath placing. The Navy is in charge of the raising the flag, but it's not the Navy. It's what's the Navy's youth group called? The
Sea Cadets.
Seabees.
Sea Cadets, yes. And the Sea Cadets are there, and they come in, they raise the flag and stuff, and then they form a funnel line up to the flagpole that's in the cemetery. And then what was my scout troop, now my wife is still the committee chair for it, they place the wreath. So the Boy Scouts go in there and place the wreath. Then at 9:00 in front of City Hall, in the park in front of City Hall, they have a bigger presentation. The Sea Cadets do the same thing for the flag there. The Scouts place it, and then they have several of the city chamber members speak. They have several of the county supervisors there speaking. They have representatives from the state representative there with a letter reading off. They have several military people there, and then they have a military chaplain come in and give a dedicatorial prayer about it. And then they have a bunch of other stuff going on. So once the speaking's done, it's the other stuff going on for about another half hour or so. Meet and greet, everyone's out there shaking stuff before they finally break up. But there are a lot of things like that. Some of the cities going to go out and they place flags along the main streets. Some of them do go to all the cemeteries and place on all the veterans there. The thing is that the cemetery that we do this at has a lot of veterans from World War II, and a lot of the ones that died at the Port Chicago ship explosion. They were the loading dock and the ship. Those that they didn't ship back to their families are buried there as well. Mm. So, I mean, there's just so many of them there. They just, the city says it's cost prohibitive, the little weasels that they are, to get little flags and put them out every year on on all the headstones and stuff. But they do, sponsor twice a year cleanups for that to keep it looking nice.
Yeah.
But enough of this for a little bit. I don't want to say enough of it because you're never talking about veterans enough, but I want to take it back to homesteading stuff here. And yeah, Laura's smiling. And I want to ask, actually, let me switch this around. I'm going to put them up here. There we go. And I want Laura and Chris to talk a little bit about the place they have now in what do you call it? The social or whatever.
The crap zone.
The crap zone, yeah. The communist, yeah, right. Anyway, so tell us about where you're at now and where you're going to.
So now we're in the crap zone, the Communist Republic and Anti-Fascist of Portland. And one of the only places in the country that there's a Canadian fellow that he was the one that got arrested after he left his service by the Canadians for not following the COVID protocol. He came down here and was speaking right down on the waterfront. It used to be really nice down there. There's a big long bicycle trail on both sides of the river. Now it's basically just a drug den down there. I mean, there's people shooting up.
Tent City.
Yeah, people are shooting up, right on the riverfront. But at any rate, the local black-clad the black-clad pajama people. This guy was speaking there, and they took all the sound equipment, threw it all in the river, and pepper sprayed some of the folks that were there just to attend a service. So I mean, it's just beyond stupid when it comes to what people can say and just the freedoms that are being eroded on a daily basis. But at any rate, we're in the crap zone, and we're wishing to move from the crap zone for aforesaid reasons. And we got a nice piece of property out in Tennessee. My brother lives out in Tennessee. He's a veteran. I'm a veteran. My other brother Daryl's a veteran, and my other brother Daryl is a veteran too.
My other brother Daryl and Daryl.
Yep, that's right. Daryl.
I saw that joke coming.
Yeah.
But
my son's a veteran.
yeah, so put in the time for the crime and whatnot, and so looking to go back there, and we got a few acres that we can homestead on, and it's really nice because I think any veterans or people that are conscious about their security, there's one way in, and it's fence and trees, so I mean, obviously one could penetrate through the trees if they were assaulting the place, but so it's nice for that. But I mean, we're also right in the triangle of two other adjoining properties that are about 150 acres and then 120, 30 acres this way, and then we're right in the center of that.
We're 160 acres, so we're surrounded by.
And it's up on the top of a hill.
I am so jealous. 160 acres.
Well, property back there is still pretty reasonable. It's going up on a year now that we were back there.
Yeah, we looked in Idaho. It was just too spendy for us.
Yeah, Idaho would have been nice just simply because a lot more. Idaho, Montana. Didn't do a lot of looking in Montana, but anyway, the family connection to go back to Tennessee. It's beautiful back there, and now we just have a raw piece of land, and we're costing way too much. We're gonna have to run 4,400 feet for power at $11 a foot, and we have to dig a well. So we have significant.
Septic. Yeah, we have to do all of it. So.
Yeah, we have significant costs just to kind of get rolling and have a place to sleep. So the good thing and the bad thing about raw land. So that's a challenge in and of itself to be able to make the transition from here. Once we finally put our house on the market, once we can get our house sold, and then making the jump, it's 2,300 miles basically from here to there. So that's the biggest part of the challenge. The other biggest part of the challenge is figuring out what we want to build, how we want to build it, and doing it under a budget that will work for us.
I got good news for Laura. My wife just found a place that's an Amish store that has all of her canning supplies that's not far from where you guys are moving.
Oh, yay.
Well, that's always a good thing.
Wife was just trying to talk me into driving 6 hours to go there.
To bad we're not there. You could say, you can go visit Laura and Chris.
Exactly. We can go visit Laura and Chris. No big deal.
Yeah, and pick up some canning supplies while you're at it.
Yeah.
It's a double bonus.
Yep.
Guys can hang out. We can go to the canning store.
Exciting.
That'd work for me.
Have you thought of going totally solar back there, off grid?
Yeah, I have, and you know, with all the major appliances being gas, there's obviously we can't tie into but we can't tie into a gas system thing. But we could get a big enough propane tank so that we can kind of float, you know, a couple years worth of propane. Is my thought. Buy them the summer, get it filled in the summer. Prices are down. So in other words, all the major users, you know, tankless hot water, stove, etc., heating, besides wood stove would all be gas. So we draw, you know, our power footprint there wouldn't be very big. But, you know, you want to have a shop, you want to have a hot tub. There's some ways to do it, but there's a place called, they're back in New England. I can't remember the name of the website right off the top of my head, but they're a great resource for DIY solar. And you can go in there and basically look at your kilowatt demand and design your whole system. But the cost of the batteries would probably be near, to do a 3-day reserve, would be almost $50,000 to have a high output system.
Yeah.
One that you have a hot tub on and stuff like this. You know, because you get old, you need a hot tub to sit in and these kind of things.
Some people don't fit that. So.
Laura, do you follow the Queen's Cabinet?
I subscribed to her just the other day. I saw all her
So did I.
freezers, yeah.
Yeah, the freezer. They got 11 freezers, and then they got that the glass front 3-section refrigerator stuff. Yeah, they have so many solar panels. They only use a third of the power they are producing, and they get a check at the end of the year from the power company for the other 2/3, which takes care of all their propane expenses, all of their utility, water, everything else. Yeah, all their other expenses. And that's something, my wife and I would like, be able to get big enough, system set up here. So we're doing that. But they're on grid and off grid, so that when the power goes out, they're on grid, so they can sell the power back to the power company. When the power goes out, they have a Generac generator and their battery pack. So if the batteries start getting too low and it's snowing and everything, there's no sun for several days, the generator fires up, charges only the batteries, and turns off.
Right. Yeah. And we could potentially do something like that, but again, the cost of the batteries for what we were looking. So what we did was I took our electrical bill, I submitted, I gave it to them. I said, this is the kind of kilowatts we're using. Now, granted, in the summertime, that's for, the AC is going to throw it off the charts. Now you can't get a lot more efficient units, the mini splits, etc., that would be a lot more efficient. And especially if we did an ICF house, we probably could do that. So, with that being a consideration, we should take another look at solar. But you're talking about a grid tie system, and we'd be completely off grid, so we couldn't roll back anything. So the cost is all of ours. Everything is us. And you don't get any of those kind of price, those rollbacks or reverse roll the meter backwards, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, but
Suburban Hillbilly is saying that I guess this is for the Queen's Cabinet today. He heat with a wood boiler.
Yeah, and there are those, and we have definitely lots of wood, and that could definitely be an option. But with just wood heat.
Those are
I
expensive.
see. I see what you're
too.
saying.
Those wood boilers, I've looked into that. They're very expensive. They're
Well, yeah. If you're talking about the one that you'd see in Popular Science or Popular Mechanics, the big green, it's kind of a green. Yeah.
Green, red, depending on the company. They sit outside and they run the underground insulated lines into the house, and heat up your regular water, heat up a little radiator in your central air system, so you're using it to heat the house.
Yeah. I mean, even in Colorado, they'll do like gas-fired boilers, and the old baseboard. They'll do a baseboard, but with all the same, it has the same kind of fins on it, like the old electric that would tear you out. It would cost you your firstborn child to run if you wanted to. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those, but the little fins.
Yeah.
In Colorado, they do a similar system that you use on a boiler. So, using natural gas to then run the boiler. And they keep the temperature in the house really, really constant. So in the winter, they're great. You can keep it within a half a degree, which makes it really comfortable. But then you have the baseboard on your wall.
Yeah.
That is another kind of alternative. Or you could do radiant in-floor heat. But Tennessee, it doesn't get cold enough to me, in my mind, to kind of do that or make it efficient or really make it even worth it.
Yeah, it doesn't get any cold.
Well, you'll be happy to know then this Thursday, Friday, we're going to have a high temperature of 41 here.
Oh yeah, it was definitely got a little bit chilly when I was back there. I mean, I was back there in February, so.
I'm sure up by Courtney, though, it's probably going to be like 30 or something with
It's going to
snow
be
the whole
32.
day.
Yeah, it's supposed to snow. However, when I lived in near Tennessee and stuff, it was like wonderful. Like I don't even think I wore a winter jacket when I lived there. I just put on a sweater. It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Well, that's what the wife and I are going to be doing this year because we just moved from Pennsylvania to here. So we're like, oh, this is wonderful.
I was like, what? Yeah.
I think the temperatures in the winter over there are about the same here, right?
Roughly.
Yeah.
I think
It's this summer that we're going to adapt.
Yeah, it's the summer with the humidity and.
The humidity doesn't start, though, until the end of July, beginning of August. So it's not going to be like your whole summer is going to be massive humidity. It's not going to be until like the end of July, beginning of August.
You're forgetting the most invasive predator up there, or down there, I should say, for me. It's about that big, and it's got wings, and it sucks blood.
Termites?
Mosquitoes?
I didn't see one mosquito the whole summer. Not
Oh,
one
that one. Oh, mosquitoes. Okay.
Well, the water that we have on the property is running quickly, so we're not too worried about that. Unless we put up a pond.
Yeah.
Okay. So we just had someone new come in here. I'm trying to scroll back up the form and find a Samanda.
Yeah.
Samanda. Okay. Hi. So.
Hey, Mama J.
Hey, Mama J.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah, one of the things that, I was actually, when we first bought here in Idaho, the year before, we were looking around at a lot of places, and I was looking at over by Adams County, over there on the west side.
Northwest, southwest?
West middle. It's Adams
So
County
it's
is
between
up.
Nashville and.
No, I'm talking about in Idaho, over in
okay.
in Adams County in Idaho, up there above Washington County. Right now, it's just about on the border between Oregon and Washington.
Okay.
There. And I was looking at a couple hundred, there were several 100-acre things I was looking out there. But my wife, what changed her mind, which changed my mind, y'all, all guys, you know how that works. My daughter.
Actually, I don't.
Chris is going to say that you're whooped or something. You just watch.
Yeah. My daughter was going to BYU, Idaho, and Rexburg over here in the east side of Idaho. And she got married over here and wanted to stay over here. And my wife goes, I want to be near, we want a place near the grandbabies. And from where they were living over here on the east side to where I wanted to be on the west side was about a 6-hour drive.
Perfect distance.
I thought so. I mean, heck, you get up in the morning, have breakfast, get there a little bit afternoon, spend the night in the spare bedroom or whatever. But she's so we wound up with a 5-acre lot here in Bingham County, and of course, what we paid for this was my wife said, "Who cares if it has an old ancient house on it? The land is worth the $132,000."
Yeah,
because we're right in the middle of the city. The city is 1/4 square mile. That's it. It's more like a hovel than a city, but it was incorporated as a city in 1903.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we got natural gas on the other for the property across the street. The one we bought, the 5 acres we bought over there, where my daughter is now. I have electricity, have city water, sewer, garbage pickup, high-speed internet.
Well,
that
remains to be seen.
For that house over there. For the house across the street that we just bought in January on a 1-acre lot,
Hey, there you go.
Perfect point.
There's no natural gas, and we got radio communication satellite. Not satellite, but my house, the tower across the railroad tracks for internet. But,
Gil, I remember last year.
Fiber, the company's bringing in fiber says, since you're already using our radio telecommunication system, you get hooked up without the added fee because you're already on our books.
Gil, I remember about this time last year, you having all kinds of issues with your Chinese friends.
Yeah, Sparklight.
Chinese friends.
Actually, they believe it or not, my daughter's saying they kind of straightened that out a little bit. But whenever I'm over there with my laptop, it acts up again. But they just can't handle heavy duty stuff.
That's because you tell the truth, and Chinese don't like it.
Mm-hmm. All right. But yeah, because what I really wanted to have a big acreage, at least 100 acres to do like you got. Like I said, I'm so freaking jealous of you guys your property back there in Tennessee. It's almost enough to make me want to move back there.
I personally, for a security standpoint, would not want that much property, because without a small army of your own, policing it and keeping it secure is virtually impossible. Not impossible.
He's got a brother over there, and we're only 6 hours away, so we can help out.
Yeah, well, you'd have to worry. Excuse me. Again, we're at the top of a hill, and then we're in between two properties, and there's basically creeks off the whole circumference of the property. So you'd have to come uphill the whole way, basically. So we have the high ground, right through the meat of the property. So not real concerned that way.
So when am I coming to stay?
You got a tent, honey?
I'll bring my little tent.
Yeah. I mean, with that much property, that's what I was thinking about doing here. Even with the 5 acres over there across the street, we got 4 division rights on it that they can't say no to.
Mm.
And so we can, and we're thinking about breaking off some half-acre lots on it.
Yeah.
And my son wants one.
Yeah.
My nephew really wants to get out of California. I mean, stuff he's posting on Facebook, especially now that they are starting to do the for kids 5 to 11.
They're doing that here too.
Yeah, and so
Not here.
not here. And so they're thinking of, getting out of, wanting to get out and come up here. And, so, I got a couple other family members too that want to, get out of California up here. So basically, if it works out the way it looks like it may in a couple of years, I'll have, 4 of the families up here. And we'll all be in the area here. And so we'll be able to support each other and help each other. If I had the 100 acres, I'd be able to say, all right, hey, I will sell you 20 acres for, a ridiculously low amount, or I'll sell you 10 acres for a really ridiculously low amount. If you can come up here, build your vacation home up here until
Charles and I only need a quarter of an acre.
Yeah, until you retire or until the balloon goes up. But we're over here where we got smaller lots. Only 5 acres there and an acre here.
Yeah, one of the good things too, though, is that not only that, but the building code basically.
Hi, Ginger.
All we have to do is get. They do have to sign off on the electrical, and the only thing you have to do is the perk test or the septic. They have to sign off on that. But other than that, I mean, there literally is no building code. I have the paper. We just have to get it filled out. It's already under this green belt.
You want to know the funny thing here, though, Chris? To build a fence, you have to have the city has to approve you building a fence. It's stupid. You can build a house, but you can't build a fence without the city's approval.
That's weird.
They got to get
funny as hell.
We also the other thing to keep the taxes low is green. It's called the green belt. It's part of their green belt program. So the taxes on that are $800 a year, roughly. So it's pretty reasonable.
Oh, that's dirt cheap. I thought just flashed through my mind.
As he froze.
160 acres in California. You'd have to put 2 more zeros behind that for the taxes for in California for that property. It'd be $80,000 a year easy.
Well, I mean, here in the communist territories, it's almost $5,000 on a quarter acre. So, big difference. And the services out there, I mean, are arguably probably better in some ways. The assessor, basically, I called her, talked to her on the phone. She's like, oh, here's your paper. Let me send it to you. Very nice, of course. And, again, people, small town, it's nice there. And, which is a great thing. So they just built since I've been there, they were building I didn't know what it was when I was there, but they just built a Tractor Supply just down the way.
Nice.
So,
Laura,
he's going to go get a tractor now, right?
Well, we're going to need one anyway.
Yeah.
So,
just as far as tractor goes, with some of the other channels I've been following, anyone that has over 100 acres, they don't have one tractor.
They have like Bobcats,
2 or 3, and different types, different sizes. So that way they're not using their big one in tight spaces, and they're not trying to do too much with the little tractor where they need the big one. One of the best ones I saw, they have a 30 horsepower small one.
Yeah.
Then they have a 50 horsepower, the big one, and then they have a track steer, not a skid steer, a track steer. A 75 horsepower track steer Bobcat with all the interchangeable buckets on it. And that's for their heavy moving and lifting and, wood. It has the grapple bucket. They get it with a grapple bucket on it, and they do a lot of their work with that. But the other, the big 50 one is when they're after they got their hay in and stuff like that, or whatever they're tilling and doing the big areas. They use like something out there like that, and that one does not have a bucket on the front. It's just the tractor with the cab, so they don't. But the 30 horsepower is the one that has the loader on it, the rotor tiller, the drag box, and stuff like that. But I said when you start thinking equipment, it's going to be a whole nother headache.
Yeah, Courtney, you may have to change the name of your group because if Sleepy there gets called, King, then you're going to have him as your king. Think about that.
We already have a king. It's King Poobah. We're good.
Yeah, but Sleepy there, he is the king. He's commander and chieftain.
I think he's the commander of Depends.
Yes.
No, it depends on where you're coming from. Yes.
Man, that's a stinky situation.
Oh, all right, Laura. What's your take on it now?
I'm into the moving from what I've been gardening on here with hardly any light because we have these beautiful trees behind us to light and having a lot of space to garden and be a lot more sustainable. I think we want to do we've talked about doing pigs and of course chickens and turkeys and stuff like that, but yeah, we have a lot of work to do as far as preparing the land, and I need to do work right now to learn how to garden in some clay because that's what's there. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about the fact, that we have to plant. The basic clearing I think is roughly 60 acres. Most of the rest of it, we have a main clearing, which is where our house will be in. It's ringed by the trees, and then on the back side of that, there's also another clearing.
Right. I haven't seen this land, by the way, other than pictures like that. So
see, that's how you do it, Bruce.
We just looked at pictures. We never were at the property. We looked at pictures, got the perfect house. I've got a basement that's 1,100 square feet, and the living space up above it's 1,100 square feet. Yeah. I was like, perfect. I've got exactly the same amount of space downstairs that's unfinished for me that is upstairs. Okay. And that was coming from a 650 square foot apartment, so I'm in heaven right now. I'm like in the Taj Mahal.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, we have to work on what we're going to plant, basically in the clearing as far as pasture grasses, these kind of things, and all of that to be worked out. Now there's weeds that are, taller, well, you can't see them, taller than way up here.
Taller than Laura. I was going to say taller than you. That's some pretty bad weeds.
There's not too much that Laura's not taller. That's not taller than Laura. But.
You haven't met my wife.
I'm trying to say
yet.
She's vertically challenged.
No, she's just short. We don't use euphemisms.
Yep.
So okay. No, she's just short. She's 5'8" though. If you listen to her.
No.
Wow,
mine's
she's taller than me.
4'10" and 3/4, and don't forget that damn 3/4, or you're in big trouble.
Like 5.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting yelled at. 4'11", damn it.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's just lots of work, but I mean, it'll be fun work once we can get there. The idea, what we really struggle with is that we want to be on the property. We don't want to be in town. Yep. But that presents a whole host of options that are none of them good with, right. Trailer, a travel trailer or something like that isn't probably practical for us.
Why? Just because you'd have to fold in half to walk in it?
Yeah, well, I would have to fold in half, right?
Yeah. Laura just goes strolling in.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do jumping jacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that really isn't an option. I looked at, there's a yurt company here. I think they're well known anyway. They're called Pacific Yurts. I think they do a pretty good job. They're in like June before they have anything ready.
Ouch.
We've looked at Amish cabins. We've looked at getting a sawmill and basically making our own Amish cabin. Just a simple, fairly simple structure that we could, get out of the weather in, sleep, etc. while we work on the house. And
have you thought about getting those cabins that Doug and Stacy get? They have like they buy like a cabin kit and then have it put on their property, and then Doug built it himself, but
Right.
you could get people to build it, and that would be kind of cool to have, like, and you don't have to have that much space. I mean, you're not going to have a bunch of people living with you. It might be like the way to go.
Yeah, we our living arrangement is fluid. My mom may come, and my son.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, I got an idea for you.
My
wife is an accountant. She's a penny pincher, and this was her idea for when we were going to live here. Before we got that, when we were thinking about just getting land, we were looking at what's called a park RV.
Yeah.
And what it is, it's a travel trailer or fifth wheel that's made for winters. And we were going to get it, put it on the property, build a big shop that, as soon as we could, move it inside the shop and live in that until we built a house.
Right.
Yeah, which is kind of what Good Simple Living did. They've done that. We've looked at, those are park models, and they're nice because they have like 8-foot ceilings.
Mm-hmm.
They'll check your email.
Which would be great, but the point is, the issue though is that why we're trying to get built, we still have to come up with we need a plan. We need house plans. And we don't have those yet. And that's kind of one of the difficulties, is we haven't set on a formalized, we're going to do ICF. Here's the exact plans. Here's our exact layout, because I have a specific things that we both want, as far as kitchen, pantry, these kind of things that make it work for us. And he
loves to cook. I'm always making something.
Yeah, and so
he probably wants an 8-foot long bath so that he can actually take a bath, right?
Yeah, that would.
I know how it is with long legs.
Yeah, that would be great. But we're running into the problem that the latest iteration is that we would end up just renting for probably a year. That way we don't, desperate people do desperate things, and we don't have time nor the budget to, make some huge mistake that would, be in the thousands of dollars because, whoops, we didn't think about this, or we were in such a hurry to get on our land that we just did something stupid. So, that's the biggest thing. But again, if it was just us, then we would be able to kind of tailor our plan probably a little bit better as far as flexibility. But we don't really have that, and so that becomes the challenge to make it work. Because we want to be there. I mean, I would go out there and sit in the back of my truck with my little rocking chair, and that was right where the back porch is.
Okay, Granny.
What's that?
I'm sorry, I was just automatically thinking of the Beverly Hillbillies. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Ellie me!
Chris is hoping that he goes shooting after some deer and hits black gold in the Tennessee hills.
Yeah. So, sitting there and just kind of studying, I mean, we want to be there, but it's going to take some doing. And
something else that we had looked at a little bit here at one point was for a temporary solution. Before we found the place across the street, was we were looking at checking around for the used manufactured homes and getting one moved on for a little bit, and then after we get it built, sell it, sell it again, and let it go have a third life elsewhere.
Right. Yeah, and we've done a little bit. We've done a little bit of that too, as far as looking, and Laura thinks, well, we could just do that, and I'm not completely against the idea, but I have a vision that
Doesn't fit in your vision.
It doesn't fit the vision, and not only that, the idea is that I don't want to compromise. I just don't want to compromise. And for me, that $50,000-$60,000 or less, it depends. I mean, I have looked at some used ones. There's a place just down the road, about 30 miles or so, that I've been to, and I actually went through them and looked in them. I looked at the nice ones even. And I'm not opposed to that. It's, we're not too highfalutin for that. That isn't the issue. But I just don't like all the built-in stuff. I don't like the framing. I just can't wrap the brain around.
Yeah. Well, that's like my wife was saying. This would be a temporary one that we'd have for a couple of years, while we get situated and get the right blueprint, and start the foundation and get everything built for the one we're going to live in. Then we just sell that. It goes away. And
yeah, I mean, and that could be, I mean, I would say that that's not off the table, because at least with that we could actually be out on the land, which is what we want.
Yeah.
A great greenhouse. Yeah, that, I mean, potentially.
Yeah, you can probably after turn it into all just put windows all along the one wall. South facing wall.
I mean, if we could, I mean, even a single wide, if we could do something like that, I mean, they're still pretty decent, 14 by 70.
Mm-hmm.
Which that could be doable, and it may be a good alternative, but it's, again, getting it set, and then the after sale, and here the issue is that this one specific spot that I have, again, she's just seen pictures, the one specific spot lends it to, this is where our house is going to go. When you come into the property, there's a clearing off to the right that's out in the trees, but it's kind of up a little bit on a hill. Then just past that, there's another clearing that kind of does the same thing. It's ringed around by trees. And those could be like alternative sites where we could maybe, think about doing something like that. But then the power run it's kind of hard to, I can't show you with my hands. Really.
Yeah, I saw remember the map. You'd have to, if you had it in front, you could stop the power run there and have a kickoff leg. And I froze again. Or a kickoff leg for that little house, cheap. But you just made me think of something. If you could have visitors and stuff, that single wide while you're building your big house, after you're in the big house, becomes your guest house.
That's true.
Yeah, and again, we've thought about that, and maybe what it is we just need to find the right used one that we could kind of see and say, hey, look, so what if we lived in here for a couple of years? I mean, that's not a problem for us. It's really just a matter of diverting resources away from the main build. So I'm also trying to be very conscientious about that, not taking resources away from what we're building. And we kind of just opened up the discussion about, we were going to try to cash flow the whole thing, but I don't, the reality is if we could get a note, and for what the land is, we would be paying less than what we're paying right now for our compound. And basically,
for this place here.
Yeah, and basically my VA would pay for all of that. So, the reality is that,
Chris, the other thing is check with your insurance company, because a lot of times,
all right, Courtney's got to go. She's got to put the little one to bed and get set up for her Media Monday, which starts in a half an hour. So, all right, Courtney, thanks for coming by.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me on. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Yeah, the insurance places down here in Tennessee especially, they will not insure mobile homes or manufactured homes. The reason for that is because the distances for the volunteer fire departments are so great that it'd be on the ground before a fire department could even get there, because those manufactured and the mobile homes have all that glue and stuff in them.
Yeah.
It just goes right up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's if you're going to do something, the other possibility is getting the modular, which is considered stick built. They're not allowed to use glue in the modulars. It's not brought in on wheels. It's brought in on a trailer and sets on a real foundation, and it's attached to a real foundation. It's not set up with all the things underneath of it to support it.
You could also go a different route. You could also use shipping containers.
That's true.
Yeah, and I've thought about that as well. Right now we have a 20-foot container over at my sister-in-law's house, and how much a 20-foot container is running out here now? Just out here?
Yeah, but down there they're a lot cheaper. I mean, right here in Ohio,
here.
less than 30 miles from me, I can get a 20-footer for $800.
Oh yeah, there's a 20-footer here right now is going for $7,000.
Ouch.
We paid $2,000 for our two 20-footers. I mean, meaning 2,000 each. My sister-in-law got one, and we got one.
Yeah.
I have thought about that though, the shipping container. I mean, we've really tried to rack our brains to figure out anything that kind of will work for us.
Mm-hmm.
We've been pretty exhaustive. I mean, I definitely appreciate the input, because that's, again, it's figuring out the best path. And I mean, just for me, what puts my mind at ease right now is just renting a place. And so we have a good place to come home to. We have a good place to,
Well, yeah, after you spend all day busting your butt on the property doing stuff, you want to be able to go and lay down and relax, take a shower, cook your meal without having to worry about how you're going to cook it. So,
Right.
yeah, and that's pretty much the most of it. The only issue though is that the town it's an hour away. Which, if that's all we're doing and we're out on the property and we're building and we're getting things done, that's not a big deal. But I mean, it still cuts into that time. But it's if I work in town, it's going to be the same thing. So it's not really that big a deal. An hour away.
Yeah.
But the town is moving that way. There's 100,000 people expected to be there in the next 10 years. So it's going to be growing like crazy.
Yeah.
It is growing like crazy already.
Yeah, I know it is here too. I mean, it's like across the street here, 5 acres with a 4-bedroom, 1-bath house on it. We bought it for $132.
Nice.
And
coming
4 hours after we signed, got signed a commitment on it. Someone came in
and froze them.
Someone came in and offered $50,000 more.
Oh wow!
Right now, the price is doubled on what we can sell it for.
Yeah,
it's good not being underwater after you buy something.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's just. But right now, my daughter is, since we bought the place over here across the street. Brandon just came over to me. Hey, I'm moving down to Blackfoot here. You want to buy my place too? And I go, yeah. And so we bought this. My daughter decided not to build a house. She wants to fix up the one over there and just stay in it. She's been renting it from us, so she's going to continue to rent for it and do fix up on it until she decides she actually convinces her husband they actually want to buy out a 3/4 acre block with that house on it, and we worked that out. But yeah, it's the prices are just in the last 5 years, it's just insane as everybody's trying to get away from the
big city,
the far left wingnuts of California and the coastal areas of Washington and Oregon.
Yeah,
it's just insane. They're just they're trying to the ones that are trying. And what's funny is though, of the ones that are fleeing, the majority of them are right wing. The few left wing nuts that our policies are failing here, let's go and try it over here, are getting shut down when they get here and say, no, those policies go back to California.
Yeah.
And because in the city council, there's someone's trying to say, I want to do this, this, and this, and they're told, hell no, you want to do that crap, go back to California.
Right. Right.
But yeah, it's I said, the area you guys got with that much land. I mean, all right, you could set up an LLC and lease, not sell, lease off 20 acres here, 20 acres here, 20 acres here, and generate money by leasing off land for, I don't want, for preppers that want to set, lease a 20 acre, land from you to set stuff up and do stuff. I mean, that's, you'd have to, like I said, you have to set up an LLC and do all that legal work, but that's not that hard to do. There are companies in Vegas that they do it in Vegas because, hey, nobody wants to send, Vegas has very strict lawyer laws. An out-of-state lawyer can't practice law in Vegas under any circumstances. They have to go through all that stuff in Nevada to be able to practice law.
I mean, I don't know, the good thing and the bad thing about the property. I mean, there's a lot of timber to harvest, so we have that. But the kind of the bad thing is really the whole entire, really that whole clearing is all surrounded. I mean, down on all sides to creeks, so it's all trees. So what you see is not what you see is cleared. That's the only cleared area. Everything else is trees.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's. I mean, I guess somebody could come in there. You could maybe. They'd all be downhill sites.
Yeah.
So it'd be a little bit tricky. There really isn't a lot of other real flat spots besides our big clearing and then the clearing that's on the back side.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of an issue as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But again, we definitely want to, once we get there and I can develop contacts locally and stuff, talking about, getting the pine harvested, because it used to be, that property in there used to be for the railroads. The railroads owned all that property for railroad ties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they a lot of the
So that's white pine then, right?
I don't know if it's white pine. I'm not sure its species. I just
because white pine is if you get the correct white pine trees, they're a hardwood, not a softwood. And it's like if you have the white pine soft and the white pine hard, the hard you can sell for 4 times as much as the soft.
Well, it would be nice if it was the hard, but with our luck, it's the soft.
Yeah, because I know it was the hard that the railroads were trying to use, and most furniture manufacturers like hard pine, and so it's something to check out with a local, tree person. Find out exactly what you got, because that may, if you have hardwood there, that's more money in your pocket.
Yeah, and we do have hardwoods basically through the creek, through all the creek bottoms, which is nice. So it's really, there's just, it's kind of a, it's a blank canvas as to what it is and, what we want to turn it into and kind of how our vision and the evolution of the property. It'll be pretty exciting to see once we're able to get to that spot. But first we need to take care of business out here. So
yeah,
that's the tricky part.
Yeah.
So
we're coming up on. I like to stop this at quarter up, give everybody a chance to take a break, grab a snack, get coffee before Courtney starts up her live stream. Hey, Garden State Gardener. And so I just got a couple things to want to bring to people's mind here. Let me grab my list over here on the other computer on the other side here. So tomorrow night on Tactical Tuesday, the topic is an unusual topic. I do it once a year, actually. Is going to be reality check. Calm the heck down, folks. Because tomorrow is, a lot of people are voting tomorrow. And so we'll be afterwards, and there's going to be a lot of people that are, upset with the way the votes went and everything else. So it's like, we're going to have a little reality check talk. It's going to be more of a, it's going to be a little bit of open chat stuff, and it's going to be talking about things that people can do to deal with their local government. Friday's going to be winterizing your garden on Friday night on the Homestead here on Camppatton Family Compound, and the other one is Gray Man Prepping tomorrow night. So that's a couple things that are coming up. Bruce, you're still doing open chat on Friday, right?
As far as I know, unless something crazy comes up.
Well, we may see what happens tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Trickling over into Tuesday, Wednesday. The returns, right? Probably, maybe.
Yeah.
Trickling Wednesday.
And the hour before me tomorrow is Dave at Southern Ohio Prepping. Do you have a topic, or is it still going to be a little bit scriptural based?
Scriptural based.
Okay.
It's not getting any better, folks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Heirloom permaculture.
At least you're positive. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Heirloom permaculture and preparedness just came in. Hey. So we've been talking with Chris and Laura of Hedgehog Homestead about a little bit about their old place and a lot about their new places and things they're facing going to a bare-boned new land. That's I'm so jealous about having. But all right. So all right. What time today? All right. I will tomorrow night. Dave comes on. These are Eastern time. Dave comes on at 9:00, and then Gray Man Prepping's Tactical Tuesday comes on at 10:00 tomorrow. So that's what we're going with tomorrow. And as always, subscribe to everybody. All my panelists here, help support them. They're working, trying to get their way to the. Well, Dave made it to 1,000, but Bruce and Chris and Laura here are working on their way to the 1,000 sub mark, and I think we're going to wrap it up here now. Thanks, Chris and Laura, for coming up here, and as always, you guys are welcome on any time I have a live stream. If you want to come up and put in your 2 cents worth, I love it. And thanks, Bruce and Dave, for coming up here.
Yep.
And so we're going to wrap this up here, and I'm going to wrap it up with. As always, everyone, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. You're living. You're not dead. Stay safe. Don't do anything foolish so you don't wind up dead. And most of all, keep on prepping and preparing yourself and your family for tomorrow. And with that, stay safe.
See you.
See you.